just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
You an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Brewers Outlet, Sunbury Motor Company, and Purdy Insurance. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And with the Lakers out, it's a day of mourning in Bristol, Connecticut. All right, this half hour brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Imports, domestics, microbrews, the best selection of beer anywhere. Wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and out every day. 6 great flavors of slushies. And ready-to-drink cocktails, such as High Noon, Jack Daniels, Crown Royal, and the Pickle Bar led by the Barrels and the Dills, indeed second to none. All at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Michigan State Athletic Director Alan Haller is out after 5 years on the job there. Former Michigan State football player who has worked in Michigan State athletics since 2010 will step down officially May 11th. He had been under contract through August of 2026 after he took over for Bill Beekman in September 2021. University President Kevin Guskowitz, who started the school in 2024 after being the North Carolina chancellor, did all the usual thank you to "You're great, deeply committed to his university, led with honesty and integrity." Evidently, leading with honesty and integrity, being deeply committed was not enough. You know how much I can't stand pre-cam releases. It's all blah, blah, blah. You know?
You think this is still fallout from Mel Tucker?
Could be. You know, now Guskowitz was not here when that happened, because I think he's been on the job, for a year and a half.
I was going to say my other reasoning these days is they weren't happy with their NIL stuff.
Could be. Deputy Athletic Director Jennifer Smith and men's basketball coach Tom Izzo will be the co-interim athletic directors during the search for Haller's replacement. I mean, Haller grew up in Lansing, for goodness sakes. Look, I don't know him at all. So, he is the guy, though, that hired Jonathan Smith to lead the football program after Haller fired Mel Tucker. So, and right now, of course, Tucker filed a wrongful termination lawsuit against Michigan State and names Haller and interim president Teresa Woodruff in the lawsuit. But he is out as the AD at Michigan State. Now we'll see where they want to go with the program there after that. But, yeah. And that happened this morning. I'm talking, it happened about 2.5 hours ago. Yeah. So there you are. Yeah. It's the way, makes you grateful for what Penn State has in Pat Kraft. Because you want to talk about somebody, you always want to be the group as an organization where you're not cocky, you're not arrogant, but you're playing offense. Okay? you're playing offense. The last thing you want to be as any organization is on the defensive. Up against the ropes, hands up, hoping you can somehow get out of it. I feel like Pat Kraft plays offense. Always pushing forward. Okay, quote, how can we be better? Here, 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 and here. Right? And I feel like that's how he runs it. I mean, James Franklin tries to play offense in how he does things. Now with Pat there, he's able to do it. And with Neely there, he's able to do it. But you have to be an organization, to me, that is playing offense. And when people try to put you on the defensive, just say, really? And just say, sorry, and just keep playing offense. I mean, that's how I view things. I think that's always important. If you can play offense as an organization 90 to 95% of the time, and don't let that 5% get in your way, do it. And I feel like Michigan State's been playing defense for a long time.
The rope-a-dope only really worked for Muhammad Ali.
Exactly. But that to me is, I think you'll see, I don't care whether it's a business or whether it is a sports organization. If you're out there and you're playing offense, and it's not like you're not going to run into some hurdles that you've got to clear, but keep playing offense. The heck with it. You can't. There'll be people that try to put you on the defensive, and Michigan State has found itself playing a lot of defense in the last how many years? I mean, a lot of defense.
10 or 15 going back to the Larry Nassar case.
I mean, Nassar, Mel Tucker, D'Antonio, even, it was a shock to everybody when he left. They thought Izzo was in trouble. I mean, it's been a lot of issues surrounding that program. And that's when you need to play offense more than ever. And you have to have people around you committed to playing offense. Doesn't mean you don't have to answer questions. Okay? It's okay to answer questions, but stay on the offensive.
There was a day and age where Tom Izzo would just do both.
Tom Izzo's one of the best at playing offense. In press conferences,
yeah,
beautiful job by him, and he goes out there, and to be honest with you, he's genuine. See, Tom's genuine. Hey, for people that don't know, no, I watch him on TV. Have you ever talked to him? No, I saw him on TV. Okay, good. Okay. You talk to him, I can tell you he's genuine. When he gets up there and expresses opinions about certain things, he's genuine. That's who he is. And you respect that. So, but that's where they are. And that's what Michigan State, and Michigan State, of course, in both football and basketball, is on Penn State's schedule. Michigan State will be coming to the Jordan Center. And in football, Penn State will go to Spartan Stadium. It's really interesting with these schedules, like the way it turns over every year. I mean, Penn State only has 3 teams on the schedule this year they played last year. UCLA, Ohio State, and just by happenstance, Oregon. The other 9 opponents are all new opponents, says the person that's already getting ready for the season. All right, let's see. What do they got here?
Don't get too far into it. The transfer portal stuff's not quite over yet.
Well, yeah, that I know. But even with the portal, you can still get 80 to 90% of it done. How about that? If I have to make some changes, I can make some changes. But at some point, you have to start getting ready for it. I mean, at some point, you have to.
Yeah, August 15th. Just jam it all into 2 weeks.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, Penn State's right now dipping into the portal as we speak. In both football and basketball. They have to. They have to.
It just reminds me of the Dr. Pepper commercial from the fall. I just see that James reaching into that hole looking for a linebacker.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Yeah, the portal, is, as we talked about with Jaden Rashada, I mean, there's guys out there that have moved around so often. I mean, some people are like 4 different schools. That's a lot.
You know as well as I do, it's going to be more and more each year.
Well, I never forget Charlie Moore, the point guard for Miami, University of Miami. Very good player, by the way. Very good. He started out his career at the University of California in Berkeley. He then transferred to Kansas, was there a year. Then he transferred to DePaul. He was there a year. And then he went to Miami. Now, the only part about what I saw with him was that at least each move was further east. And I made the joke. I said, where's the next stop? The Bahamas. Don't know. But I don't know how you get yourself settled in any way when you're moving that often. I mean, that's,
Maybe he's a one duffel bag kind of guy.
Yeah. Our old friend Ross Tucker was on the Dan Patrick Show on Wednesday. He told a Shedeur Sanders story. Did you hear this?
I did not.
By the way, thanks. Great addition, by the way, Rich Eisen joining us here, right?
Yeah,
his
June
show.
6th, I believe. 7th.
Yeah, his show. It's going to be great. Looking forward to it. Ross Tucker was on Dan Patrick's show. Says that Shedeur Sanders skipped a planned production meeting with him only to see him in the back of a pickup truck afterwards. And it was the second time in the same week that Tucker thought that he would sit down with Sanders only to not have it happen. We weren't really given a reason, but we did not talk to him at the production meetings, which, as you know, is usually the starting quarterback, especially a high-profile player like that, very unusual. I walk out of the hotel, there's a pickup truck in front of the hotel, and Shedeur is sitting in the back of the pickup truck. So it just made me wonder, Dan, people ask me, NFL people asked me after that game, what did you think of him? And I said, I didn't get to talk to him. Maybe he's the greatest kid ever. Maybe he's a bad kid. I don't know. But I told them the story, and they just kind of nodded their head. It just kind of made me wonder, Dan, how many stories like that there are about him, because the things he did were not customary. He did things non-traditionally. And it certainly seemed like that was the deal with a lot of the combine interviews, meetings with teams, especially at that position. I think it makes them very nervous that already in college he was getting out of things that you're supposed to be doing. Now, let's face it. I mean, you skip production meetings. That doesn't tank your stock. But you know what? You know what it does do? It is one of those yellow flag moments. Not a red flag, but it's a yellow flag. Like, hey, like, are you better than? You think you're better than everybody else? Like, you're the quarterback. I mean, Tom Brady will sit down in pro meetings with. Yeah.
I mean, that was some of the things that I read in the postscript of the draft was instead of treating the interviews with the with the NFL teams as a job interview, which most people do. They were treating them as a recruiting trip. They wanted to be recruited to the NFL team, and I'm sure that didn't go over huge either. Yeah.
The U.S. Senate, meanwhile, is going to hold a hearing on the future of sports broadcasting.
What does that even mean?
I believe the suit's been called as a witness. CNBC's Alex Sherman, the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation will hold a full committee hearing on the future of sports broadcasting next Tuesday. It's entitled Field of Streams, the new channel guide for sports fans. We'll examine the policy questions raised by the changing ways Americans are watching live professional sports on television, particularly how traditional over-the-air broadcasts are increasingly supplemented or even replaced by digital platforms, subscription services, and exclusive streaming arrangements. Senator Ted Cruz of Texas serves as the chair of the committee. They will get testimony from Bill Koenig, who's the NBA president of Global Content and Media Distribution, NHL Senior Executive Vice President of Media and International Strategy, David Proper, MLB Vice President of Media and Business Development, Kenny Gersh. They also requested the NFL to testify, but that league has refused to do so. Why? Because they're the NFL and you're not. Cruz said catching your favorite team on TV shouldn't feel like solving a puzzle. Games that used to be free or easy to find are now scattered across pricey apps and exclusive deals. This hearing will explore how leagues intend to keep sports accessible and affordable for the fans who make it all possible.
Come on, man. They're in bed with UFC, who charges $6,000 for a front row ticket, and everything is on pay-per-view. Like, what are we doing here?
I don't know.
It's old man shake. Like, I just looked it up. Cable's lost like 40 million viewers in the last 5 years. Like,
because they price themselves out.
I mean, I'm not arguing that point, but you can't be for capitalism, and then when capitalism takes over, you don't like it anymore. Like, it's just how it works. It's just, I mean, kids aren't watching cable anymore.
Okay. Well, I always do go back to the Dolphins-Chiefs game from a year ago, where the NFL deliberately put it on. What did they put it on? Peacock?
Peacock.
Yeah. Okay. And they got 23 million viewers, right? But the average viewership for that round of the NFL playoffs was around 40. So you cut off 17 million viewers who either didn't want to buy it or didn't think it was worth their time. You're already getting, what are they getting? 10 billion a year from TV? Right? Somewhere in there, right? Is that what the NFL gets? I thought it was a 10-year, $100 billion contract.
Yeah, I guess my point is the cat's out of the bag now. It's like the college stuff. You're not putting this stuff back in the bag. You're going to pass a law that they have to have all the games on cable for free?
No. No. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm not disputing it.
Oh, I know.
It's just, I mean, my issue is if I'm a TV network and I paid money, why is it the Christmas Day game is on Netflix?
I mean, to be honest, that's between the NFL and their partners.
Right. That's, I mean, I paid the money. Don't I have the option to, like, I want the game?
Again, that's between the NFL and their partners, and not up to Ted Cruz's committee to decide.
Oh, I agree. I mean, do I have Amazon? Yes. Do I have Peacock? No. But it turns out that's usually during the holidays, and some of my family does have Peacock. So,
I mean, I get it. I completely understand. I do, but I don't get where, what the resolution would be.
I mean, here's where. Okay, you're a Mets fan, all right? Suit is a Phillies fan. Roger's a Phillies fan. Pennant race down the stretch. You can get the Mets on SMY, right?
Correct.
Okay.
If I pay for it.
Right, I understand. The Phillies, of course, you can get on. Was it NBC Sports Philly? Whatever. I can get the games here.
I think that's what it's called now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then but it turns out it's the first game of a 3-game weekend set, and they're tied for first place. And it's a Friday night in September. Guess where the game is?
Oh, I know where the game's at, and I would be irate.
It's Apple.
Yes.
Okay. Where's the game not? NBC Sports Philly and SMY.
Here's where I'm a good soldier and I say, but it is on 107.3.
Well done. Well done.
Oh, I mean, even that, what was it? At the beginning of the season, the Phillies and the Dodgers, that first game of the Friday night series was on Apple TV.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's part of the issue with all this to me. Now, ESPN dropped their midweek games, and Apple picked up the Friday night game for the exact number that ESPN shed financially. Right? So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why they have it. I know of nobody that watches the Apple Friday night baseball games. Doesn't mean there aren't, but I don't know of anybody. And I don't know of anybody that is happy when games are on Apple.
Apple, but yeah. The only person I can come up with is, I think my brother has Apple TV, but it's one of those things where it's not even, I'm not even sure if it's in the top 5 or 10 of streaming services right now. And then I mean, I think the MLB's issue is twofold. One, losing ESPN as their partner, and they're probably as guilty as the NFL of splitting out their national TV package, because for a while it was on Roku too. Like you weren't they? I don't think they do it anymore. But remember, they had the 11:05 Sunday morning game every week the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think, we talk about the Apple TV. I think if you live locally, I don't know how close it is on Prime. You can get sometimes they put the Yankees games on
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. And there are a lot of people in New York that are furious over that.
I've never actually tried to watch one because I'm usually at work. Are we close enough to get them on Amazon Prime?
Well, I have Amazon Prime.
Yeah, but I think it's still localized. I'm not sure if you have Amazon Prime in California, you can watch those Friday night Yankees games.
Oh, okay.
But that is a little beyond what I know, though. I can't say that for sure.
I'm not sure.
And I don't care about the Yankees enough to check when I think of it.
Oh, now you hurt Matt Catrillo's feelings.
Oh, that's not the first time.
Come on, jeez. I mean, now I guess he applied for a job to be the personal Uber driver for Judge when he's in New York.
I figured his goal was always to be under the desk. That way you don't have to do any work like George, but you know all the interworkings of the team.
Oh, you always keep the door shut.
That's right.
That way people think you're really busy.
That's why I need an office.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
You an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And this half hour being brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, boat, motorcycle, RV. Some of our insurance needs, Medicare insurance needs as well. And they do everything they can to make you fully insured. That's number one. And save you money, because customer service means everything to them. These are really good people that are great at their jobs. They care. It is all at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. So there you go. The Shedeur Sanders thing continues to fascinate most people. Listen to this quote. This is somebody, an anonymous team personnel, sat in the interview with Shedeur Sanders. He said the assessment was true, but it was severely sugar-coated. He said, imagine Terrell Owens, his father, Chad Johnson, and Jim McMahon multiplied by 10,000. This individual wore so much cologne to the interview assessment that the coach suggested that they go for a walk because he was concerned that the individual might faint from the overpowering scent. He wore headphones around his neck with music playing throughout the entire interview and brought his entire entourage to the building. This guy says, in my 33 years in the NFL, I have never encountered a prima donna of this caliber. When the coach asked him where he envisioned himself in 5 years, his reply was mayor of the city, followed by a loud laugh and clapping. The bottom line is his quarterback skills are mediocre at best. If he were playing in the SEC, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because he wouldn't have been a starter.
Now, I do like that made me laugh. The mayor.
Oh, I mean, I would have laughed too. I mean, I like his confidence. But, so. Yeah. So there you go. That's our guy. Yeah.
It's funny, now that he's gone to Cleveland and we're a couple days out, now I'm reading yesterday that he might be the day one starter, Steve.
Sure. Well, with Cleveland, with that cast of characters, I mean, when you look at Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, I mean, Gabriel's no issue. Deshaun Watson at the moment's no issue. I mean, the issue is going to be, I think, above all, is what does Kevin Stefanski think of Joe Flacco, who got him into the playoffs 2 years ago? So,
man, Joe Flacco's getting old.
I know, but he knows the speed of the game. I mean, look, okay, he did not play for the Browns last year, which surprised me. I thought he might. And you know, when you look at, now he's a year older, there's no question. There's no question. Okay? That being a year older. But when you get to this stage, he at least understands how to read defenses, how to make plays, the speed of the game, and so forth. Now, whether he can still do it at his age, okay, that is a legitimate question, right?
Yeah, very legitimate. Because I not that I, but I feel like that stretch 2 years ago might have been the last gasp.
Could have been. You're right. It very well could have been. I mean, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend it wouldn't be. But, like, this, I don't know. Could I see it mid-season, him getting a start and then it turning into a total circus?
It's already a circus.
Yeah.
I mean, it might slow down a little bit now. I mean, maybe rookie camp next weekend or whenever theirs is, it might start up again. But once we get to training camp, it's going to start all over again. I can't believe that.
There's no doubt that he's going to play preseason games. There's no doubt about that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, he will play preseason games. He's a rookie quarterback. He's going to get out there. Okay? And that's going to be dissected beyond words. I mean, look, it's not as if we didn't have that here. I mean, how many weeks around here in 2023 did rumors run rampant that Drew Aller was going to be the starting quarterback that week? How many games that season was Drew Aller? There were rumors running around. How many times did you hear it? I heard it like 3 or 4 times during the season. I'm standing there like, no. And of course, I'm there, so I know. I mean, standing there going, okay, sure. All right. Yeah.
I have a very controversial opinion on that I used to express to my friends that I don't even want to say on the show because it's going to set you off.
Oh no, it's not going to set me off.
Well, my thoughts. I believe that they blew a chance at a national championship by not starting Drew Aller from the start that season.
As somebody I have the distinct advantage of being there every day.
Yes, I know.
All right, and because of that, I strongly feel that they made the right choice. I think that he was a true freshman, and versus a veteran, and the veteran, by the way, led them to a Rose Bowl championship that year. But he's a true freshman. I thought the one game he got put into against Purdue right out of the gate, that was impressive, what he did and how he handled himself. But I think that I was on the Giants podcast yesterday, and they brought up Jackson Dart to me, and I said one of the biggest pluses that Jackson Dart has is he's got both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston there, so he doesn't have to start right away. And when you look at the quarterback, now these are obviously NFL examples, but Aaron Rodgers had a great career. I don't think waiting hurt him. Right? Tom Brady had an awesome career. Waiting didn't hurt him. Eli Manning was not the starter out of the gate with the Giants. It was Kurt Warner. And so those are all pro examples. I just think that Drew, that the spring of that year was okay. To the point where we're like, okay, we'll see. Then he came back and he had a really good training camp. But he wasn't the better quarterback yet. And I'm just telling you what my observations are, Todd.
Well, my thoughts were at the time, and remember, this was right after, this was the fall after James had said that after the Ohio State game, that they weren't elite, that they needed to get elite or whatever it was. They needed to reach Ohio State's level. And I always thought you knew what Sean's ceiling was. Mm-hmm. And you were going to lose the Ohio State game with Sean, and you were going to lose another game with Sean. And at the time, the hype around Drew was he was the second coming of Ben Roethlisberger, right? Essentially. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the ceiling was higher, and you had a chance to be a better offense. Is that right in hindsight? Probably not. But
no, but it wasn't right in and again, you're trying to do this, you know, you're trying to do this from not 30,000 feet. You're trying to do this from 5,000 feet. Is that fair?
Maybe even further, but I
you know, and so in watching them rep by rep by rep, right, and also the fact that Sean really helped Drew learn how to really watch video on that level too. But I thought James handled that right. The one thing you want to do, I learned so much from Joe Paterno over the years. So much. Just either observing or listening. And I'll never forget if he told me this once and also told others this. Right? I heard him say it 30, 40 times. I'd rather play a guy a game too late than a game too early. And that's a fine line for a coach there. When do I put them in where I give them all this responsibility? Okay? And if you notice, in Saquon Barkley's first game against Temple at the at the Link, Barkley didn't play a lot in that game. Akeel Lynch did. And they kind of worked him into the lineup in the first couple of games, and then he took off from there. But when you're playing a guy a game too early, the great risk is that they get overwhelmed by the speed of it. They get overwhelmed by the possible mistakes. And can they overcome that the next time out? And do you end up fighting confidence because of it? That's why you'd rather play a guy a game too late than a game too early. And it's up to the coach to figure out what that time is. That timing is very tricky.
Hey, who went through more quarterback stuff than Joe?
Oh, I know. Right. You know, and it wasn't just the quarterback position, Todd, that he talked about that. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? I'd rather play a defensive tackle a game too late than a game too early because, again, you don't want to do anything that chips away at their confidence. Because the last thing you need out there is somebody who's not quite confident or is thinking. I bring you back to our staff meetings. No, I'm just kidding. So you see what I'm saying? I understand your point completely, and I understand why you said it. I think Drew is the quarterback he is today because of the pathway he took. Played in 9 games, didn't have to start, learned, picked up things, observed, picked up things, got some game action, picked up some things, and then became the full-time starter in his second year. Because if you saw him in the spring of 2023, Drew was very much up and down and at times struggled in the spring of 2023. That's why I was so pleasantly surprised to see what he looked like in August of 2023, because to his credit, he got a lot better.
I was going to say, in my defense, though, that I do have some pretty crazy Penn State friends.
But I mean, did I blow my top or anything, or did I talk logically about it?
Well,
I mean, no. I mean, you're entitled. People are entitled to their opinions, and then I think it's my responsibility as somebody who physically stood there on an everyday basis to then say, okay, I understand where you're coming from. Right? Now let me tell you what I observed on a daily basis. That way it gives everybody at least a perspective. How about that? Now, the perspective may be through my eyes, and maybe you don't trust my eyes. That's fine. I understand that. You can trust anybody's eyes you want.
I was a little disappointed you didn't go for the joke there.
That I didn't go for the what?
The joke.
The joke.
I listened to your opinion, and now I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
No, I didn't say that.
I know.
I did not say that. Right? Because I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that. And the reason I didn't want to say it is that, I want to respect everybody's opinion. And then if I can add some perspective to it that helps out a little bit in terms of perspective, then okay. Right? And it's because you're not the only one that's ever said that or thought that.
And the apex of that opinion was after that Purdue game.
Right. No, I understand that. But there were so many times that season where the rumor was running rampant that this was the week he was starting. And to be honest with you, that I think it played a role as to how Wednesdays were covered. Okay? And, they get that 10 to 15-minute window to come in on Wednesdays. And that season, there would just be a line of people going over to the quarterbacks right away. And to be honest with you, there were some stories that were missed during that season that didn't come out till game day. Guys out. All of a sudden, Saturday shows up. Where is he? Another guy later in the year was out. Where is he? Right? Guy was at practice on Sunday, had an appendectomy on Monday, missed all the practices the rest of the week, and everybody was surprised he wasn't starting on Saturday. It's like, where is he? Well, he wasn't there Wednesday because everybody went down to see the quarterbacks. So, I think that season, everybody does a great job of covering the team, but a few too many people got too enamored with the idea that he might be the starting quarterback that week, and I never got it. It's like, no, he's still the backup.
I bet a lot of that came from the fans, too, because I bet that's all their emails were that year.
Oh, I'm sure they were. Oh, no, I'm sure you're absolutely right about that. Look, they're trying to cover what the fans are asking them to cover. Okay. So because they're covering what the fans are asking them to cover, that's what they're trying to do, when the reality was it really wasn't the story. But it puts the reporter between a rock and a hard place because the fans are demanding X, and maybe even as a reporter, you think Y is like, wait a minute, we got it. Right? Yet if you don't deliver on X, fans get mad at you. So it's a rock and a hard place thing. It's just, but that season was interesting because there were 3 or 4 different times where the rumor was, I hear he's starting this week. I'm like, huh? He is?
I do wonder how closely that mirrors what went on in Austin the last couple of years. I wonder how much they had to deal with that with Arch and Quinn Ewers.
That's a great question. Because I'm not close enough. Yeah. Never. I put only a little bit of thought into that.
Yeah.
Because Arch Manning did start, a game or two this year?
Yeah, Quinn was hurt, though.
Yeah, he got hurt. No, I'm out. That's why he started. Because Ewers got hurt the year before, and Arch didn't start. It was the guy that transferred to...
Duke, right?
Duke.
And now he went to...
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember now. Just because the Tulane quarterback is at Duke now.
Yeah, and that was a big get for Manning to get him, and he got a lot of money, I think.
Well, he is the other one that started the Nico one, because I think he got the same amount as Carson Beck.
Yeah. So, yeah. Interesting times, isn't it? Things that we never thought we'd be talking about 10, 15 years ago. I'm telling you right now, Carson Beck, what did you think of his contract? That's pretty good. I didn't think we'd be talking about that 10 or 15 years ago.
Texas's $40 million salary cap this season.
Ay. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a lot of oil.
I was going to say there's some oil in them hills.
A lot of oil. Oh, believe me, if they thought there was oil under the 50-yard line at Memorial Stadium in Austin, right? They'd say, "Sorry, Coach Royal, we're digging."
Wait, he's at Oregon State?
Who?
Malik Murphy.
Is he really?
Yeah, that was I didn't know where he signed. I assumed if you were leaving Duke and you were getting some money, you were going to a little higher level than Oregon State.
DJ Uyunglele. It's kind of like the if you can't make it there, you're not going to make it anywhere.
Do you see that they're thinking about making him a tight end? That somebody signed him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Jordan Travis retired yesterday. He never recovered from his broken leg.
You know what? That is one of the sadder athletic things to have happened. It cost Florida State a chance of being in the playoff. What's interesting is that the fans were rarely enamored with him until his last season and a half there. Yeah. In the last season and a half, he was their hero. The first season and a half, he was the scourge of the earth.
He was DJ Ungale.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the fans didn't like him. All right, well, you know what? The last season and a half, Jordan Travis played terrific football, and it was awful what happened to him.